no way. Look at this maniac. Whoa! Is he gonna nail my head?
He will watch your head.
Oh, is he close?
Get ready. Don't
If you like snakes, this video is gonna be for you.
This is a Milos Island Viper. This is from several of the Greek islands.
Really?
Yeah, these are very variable. These come in red, they come in mottled, and they come beige like this.
This is pretty, man. Now, does this animal look like it's gonna shed?
Yeah, she's going into a shed.
Okay. Now, the thing that fascinates me is these are, small snakes.
These get decent size.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah, they grow very slowly. We've had them for a few years, and I'm not really into pushing my reptiles. I like to feed them sparingly and let them, like a natural way. This is only one of 2 European vipers that specialized in eating birds.
Really?
Yeah, these in the wild. These before humans, they eat rats because there's introduced rats now. But historically, there were no mammals on the islands that they live in, so they were bird eaters, and they fed heavy in the spring and in the fall.
Are these a ground-dwelling snakes, or would they eat ground birds, like ground-dwelling
They
birds?
climb up in the trees.
They do,
They
okay.
do to feed.
Okay.
It's kind of like a Hog Island Boa or Pearl Island Boa.
Okay.
It's like they climb up to feed, to ambush when it's bird season.
Are these aren't pit vipers though? These
No,
are
these are old world,
just
yeah.
old world vipers.
Yeah.
So yeah, very, very cool. So they're hunting on sight and then smell?
I guess so. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd say sight because they don't have time to.
So for the layman, what's that mean? Old world vipers
It's
don't
old-
have pits in
yeah.
general?
Yeah, I mean,
Is that the rule?
there are pit vipers in the old world.
Thank you to all our loyal Patreon members out there who have helped to create an amazing reptile community online with us.
This week's shout out goes to Daniel Wilpingslater.
But there is, when you typically say old world viper, those are vipers that don't have pits.
And old world means Europe, Asia, Africa. The new world is North and South America and the Caribbean islands.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Going from old world to new world, we've got Hog Island Boas. Really, really cool snake. These are found just the small group of islands right off of Central America and the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And they are not necessarily the largest of the boas, but
No.
they have a really cool muted color.
Yeah,
and
they're small. There's a small population of Boa imperator. A lot of the island boas, like the Quaker Cay and the boas in the Pearl Island, they're like the Hog Island Boas in such that they're faded and they're about the same size and they're arboreal bird eaters.
Awesome. That's
Okay.
really interesting.
I had the chance to go to Hog Island about 2 years ago, and it was pretty interesting because Hog Island, these were very, very heavily collected in the late 80s. I think 83 to 89, they were very, very heavily collected, and the whole economy of Hog Island was based on harvesting the boas.
Really?
And some of the guys I talked to, they were telling me stories about seeing sacks with hundreds of them, sacks of 40 of them, and then they shut that down in '89. And they're very common on the island now. There was one stream that we went up and we found about 14 in about half an hour. And I was asking the old islander what how much the population has recovered since 1989, and he said it's about 40% of what it once was.
Wow.
But he said, it was they were really, really
Thick with them.
and they really, really over-harvested them. And if the Honduran government didn't shut that down, they would have disappeared.
My gosh.
Well,
we got
that just
next?
goes to show, the lesson on that is that, populations can take a lot of abuse as long as the habitat remains intact.
Interesting. Yeah. So they didn't really develop the islands.
No,
so
the island's not developed.
Interesting. So snakes were able to.
Yeah, they were able to come
bounce
back. I mean, it's not an ideal scenario,
Right.
but it's not the worst.
Not
scenario.
catastrophic.
Not catastrophic.
Cool. What else we got? We got some more
We
different
got
snakes
a
over
female
here.
children's python here.
Children's python.
Yeah, this is the first python I ever owned. I don't know, I must have been 15. Wow. I remember buying it from Hank Molt.
Hank Molt. This is an old name. Hank Molt Reptiles. He was in Philly?
Yeah,
was it?
Philly.
Yeah. Crazy. Awesome.
This isn't the individual, obviously.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she should be dropping eggs pretty soon.
That is a cool
I was
snake.
actually hoping to lift up the cage, lift up the...
And have her, you
have
help
her
them
on
see
eggs.
her on
Yeah,
eggs.
that would've
Gotcha.
been the most surprise for them.
That's awesome. That's a pretty snake, Australian snake, huh? What's special about the children's python?
Well, it's a very small python, and they're very easy to work with. So it's like a good pet python.
Hence the
Yeah.
children's python.
Well, I mean, it was named after a person called whose last name was Children, but I mean it.
It kind of goes.
Yeah,
it kind of
kinda
works.
goes. Yeah, it kind of
Yeah,
works.
that's funny.
But it's not something that somebody's going to let go because it gets too big. Because this is an adult
Oh wow.
right here.
What kind of habitat are they found in the natural range?
I believe that it's dry forest. I mean, the species has been broken up.
Okay.
Because now they have spotted pythons, and they all used to be lumped in as children's pythons. But I believe children's pythons are dry forest and monsoon forest. And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think that the ones that they call spotted pythons are the ones from Cape York.
Which
The
is
wetter
more
habitat.
tropical.
Yeah, which is more tropical.
Gotcha. Yeah, this one's waking up here. Might think that it's going to be fed, so watch out. But I love the Australian pythons, whether it's Morelia or the blackhead pythons, olive python, all of these guys. They have such interesting faces to me. But this one clearly is it's in a little bit of a striking position here. You see that? So maybe because she's starting to develop follicles or eggs, she's getting a little cantankerous. But that's really, really cool. So just kind of check her out. But that's a dead giveaway that she's unhappy. So we're gonna back away and put her cup back on her. Put her hide back on. Nice. You don't know what the name of the term is for snakes or lizards that love to be up against something. There was a term, I always forget.
I call it contact security.
Okay, yeah, that works.
But there's a lot of stuff that needs to be
Yeah.
in places where they can cram themselves into
Right.
and feel secure.
Yeah, feel secure. That's why you see also snakes will kind of go along walls and stuff, because another animal that likes contact security are rodents.
Yeah.
Rodents
That's what-
like to have one side safe, and they're a
Right.
nervous species
Yeah,
because
that's
everything
why-
eats them.
Right.
So
That's
the
why they put the traps on the wall.
on the walls, and that's why the snakes follow that path as well. Cool. All right. There's how many different species of snakes do you think you have here at Reptilandia?
I'd say 30.
30 different species. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool looking.
These are some bush vipers.
Now, bush viper is African,
Yes.
and so this is one of the more common bites you'll get in Africa, right? Like a bush viper is like you're always getting, contact between human and bush viper. Seems that way. I don't know.
Honestly, I'm not sure. But these are basically
Wow! Look at that.
on our boreal saw-scaled viper.
Look at the head. on
Saw-scaled
that.
vipers bite a lot of people. I think in Nigeria, something like 20%.
Really?
In rural areas, 20% of the cause of deaths is from
A bush viper envenomation.
no, saw-scale vipers.
Oh, saw scale viper. Gotcha. Look at the. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this.
There is another
Oh,
one up there.
thank you.
Be careful.
I would. Oh, look at that. There's one right there. And then look at the face on this guy.
Get this down for you.
All right, thanks. I'll let you do that real quick. But I'm really taken by the eyes and the shape of the head on this snake. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. So let's get real close. There's only two?
Yeah, there are two.
Okay. So guys, I'm just really loving the shape of that head. What the heck just touched me? I'm freaking out.
don't-
I just freaked out, for God's sakes. This freaked me out.
Don't
So
worry,
there's only two. All
I
right.
like you, Ken.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna-
thanks,
we won't let you
buddy.
Get beaten,
Oh
rather.
man, that is so cool though. Look at that snake, man. That is rad. And then look at that face. Oh,
These are very variable. It's like the old world equivalent of an eyelash viper.
okay. Same like ecological niche, right?
It's a variable lowland snake.
Okay.
Meanwhile, most of the rest of their complex are highland snakes with restricted distributions. And
Okay.
like the eyelash vipers, these have broad distribution. They're from lowlands, and they're very variable.
Awesome. That is really cool. And not much bigger than this, or?
No, they get bigger than that. These
Okay.
are not adults.
Gotcha. Okay. Got some snake shed right here.
Yeah, scrub python shed.
Yeah, there's the python up there. Oh, Okay, moving along. This is really cool, man.
These are some Cuban boas that we're
Oh.
here this week. I mean,
You know-
not this year, rather.
A close friend of ours, Tom Crutchfield, loves Cuban boas.
And you can see
Oh, that's cool, man.
there's two of them there.
That is awesome. That's a cool snake. Now, so many people kind of with the Caribbean boas, meaning the Cuban and the Jamaican, Jamaican boas, they're not the most colorful, but they're pretty cool snakes.
Yeah,
still.
I mean, Jamaicans are beautiful. I'll pull
Are
out
they?
the Jamaicans.
Okay.
in a little
Yeah, I'd
while.
love to see that.
What's something interesting fact about Cuban boas is when they're born, they're not much smaller than that. Okay?
Okay.
And meanwhile, the rest of the Caribbean boas are little worms when they're born.
Huh.
But maybe the reason why it's like that is because in Cuba there's something like 18 species of dwarf boa that are probably competition for them. So these are born ready to take birds and mammals right away.
Right away.
So they don't have to compete with the 18 or 17 species of dwarf boa that.
But it's even wild that there be that many species of snake
It
on
is.
one island.
It is. It's
That's
interesting.
nuts.
It's like Cuba has 17 or 18. I think 17.
Different species, like
Oh.
legit different species.
Yeah.
Wow. that's
Dominican
crazy.
Republic has about 4, as currently understood. Jamaica has about 4, as currently understood. And Puerto Rico has none.
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 Odd that that would
Yeah,
happen.
it's weird.
Yeah. Crazy.
Very, very, a lot of random stuff going on in the Caribbean.
All right, so these are.
Oh, yeah, here's the Jamaican Boas on the move right here.
Oh, very cool.
So,
Oh, that's awesome.
okay, when you go in, there's another one up there.
All right.
Which actually, when I was cleaning it this morning, bit me on the head.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, I've been bitten by thousands of snakes in my lifetime. I've never been bitten on the exact head. He's got a baseball hat, so he's
Yeah, it should be
okay.
okay.
How'd it feel?
But it was, I don't know, can you see any mark here? It was right here where it bit me.
There is a mark right here, maybe. Yeah, there is a little. There's a little mark right
Well,
there.
look at this. Get right in on that because this is a pretty snake. You're right. Really nice. It looks. Again, I'm kind of colorblind, but it looks green to me. But that's a really pretty snake, and obviously it's curious with what's going on. Why the cage door has been open. Usually that means either cleaning or food. So it's
Okay.
kind of reached over.
So
Yeah.
you're glad I warned you?
Yeah. Oh wow! Wow! Look at
I didn't
that!
see that guy. He's coming
Oh,
right
dude,
behind.
yeah, that is sweet. No way. Look at this maniac. Whoa! Oh, that's a jerk. That's the guy that got Quetzel. Oh, we gotta name this guy. Guys, in the comments below, look at that. Oh my goodness. Yeah. These guys will eat birds. Oh, that's it. He's locked on to the GoPro. These guys will eat birds in the wild.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this is perfect. This is actually, let's see guys. This is actually, is he gonna nail my head?
He will let you head.
Oh, is he close?
He's about
looking.
4 inches
He's
out.
getting ready.
Just don't move, not flinch. You're
I'm
on
not.
camera.
What's going on?
Don't.
What's going on?
About 2, 3 inches out now.
What's going on? It's gonna bite me? It's a baseball cap. It's got holes in the mesh.
2 inches out.
All right, can I go? I don't wanna do this. What's going on?
2 inches out.
Dude, is he gonna land on my head? We don't want him around my head. I don't want a freakazoid on my head.
Okay, you're about.
He's almost touching you.
Stop it.
He's just sniffing.
Okay.
Did he just open his mouth?
He did a little bit.
He's
yeah.
full of shit. You guys are full of, wait.
No.
No, he didn't.
All right, well, you know what?
We're on the back
I guess
side.
not.
I'm a little nervous, Quetzel.
No, I guess he doesn't like
Look at
dandruff.
that.
Dandruff, yeah, well, there's not a lot of fuzz
He's
on
back.
him.
He recoiled back.
Yeah, all right.
The other one is,
Look at this maniac.
other one's coming around too.
Oh my God, these are cool, man. These guys are nuts. But they have a really cool face, a different shape than other boas that you normally see. But look at that. That's he'll nail that thing, man.
Yeah, this is arguably the prettiest of the Caribbean boas.
Wow.
They come in a silver phase, in a red phase, in a yellow phase, orange. Tommy's got a really
He
nice-
does. Yeah, he does. This is cool, man. Talking about Tommy Crutchfield.
The one and only.
Yeah, legendary Tom Crutchfield. Yeah, look at this guy. He is interested. When's the last time they were fed?
They get fed on Fridays.
Okay.
Saturdays, so they know it's about time.
Yeah, look at this. But this is really cool, guys, because this is showing you their hunting technique. you know, they can really support themselves with their tail. The rest of their body is kind of just pulled out. They're so strong. I also love when they do that telescoping type situation. You're laughing because this thing
He's getting close.
He's getting close. I can
He's
get
definitely
there.
getting close.
I'm just sitting here yapping, but this guy can still kind of reach out and get me. But I'm looking at the curve. You know, there's not much that he can really do to get further here. Yeah, see? Wild stuff, man.
That's a good picture of me.
That is so cool. This is a pretty snake, Quetzel,
Yeah,
man.
this is an albino. I'm not normally into albinos. But
Okay.
A friend of mine gave this to me, and these almost look like a natural thing. So
Right. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm
Yeah.
not really much for morphing. You know,
once in a while.
But that's pretty, man. How many are in here?
Just one. Just
Okay.
that.
Yeah, that's a
That's
cool
a male.
snake.
I need to pair that up.
And this is a white-lipped pit viper.
Yeah.
Where are they from originally?
These are from Asia.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what country they get shipped out of.
Wow. And this is a juvenile?
It's a subadult.
It is a subadult.
Yeah.
Okay, so not a very, very large snake then.
Yeah, not a very large snake. Maybe like 2 feet. 3
But
feet.
what type of venom do they possess?
It's not very toxic.
Okay. Is it a
Yeah,
hemotoxin or?
It's a hemotoxin,
It
but
is.
it's usually not a medical emergency.
Really? Okay.
You know, with this species.
So they're eating small birds?
Yeah, small birds and rodents.
Gotcha. Well, there's a typical snake I'm not happy posture. Just trying to warn you off. It's amazing that I think that's such a primal position that kind of just talks to you.
Well,
if you didn't know anything about snakes, if you are an alien and just landed here,
Yeah, you would.
you would think, I don't think this thing likes me.
Yeah, there's a great account of that, and you know, there's a biologist friend of mine named Harry Green, who's a great guy. If you ever get to spend any time with him, and he's describing his first encounter in the wild with a bushmaster.
Okay.
And he's talking about how calm it is, but he said, you know, the way it looks was reminded him of Clint Eastwood in High Plains Drifter.
Yeah.
You know, that stare, just
The
like
1,000-mile stare,
yeah,
right?
just don't come any closer.
Exactly. Another good movie, though. I like me some Clint Eastwood. I like The Pale Rider. That was a good one, too.
I remember
Preacher!
Yeah.
Preacher! Bro, this is really, really cool enclosure for an emerald tree boa. Do you think he's happy and secure up there, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I was saying before, this cage, the temperature fluctuates in this cage a lot more than I would like it to. It's quite cold in the wintertime and pretty hot in the summertime.
Okay.
And I never have any problems with that. I feed these guys big meals, which you're not supposed to do with emeralds, but there's no problem. I never have any problems. She's gravid.
Wow.
You know, I should be walking in on a pile of babies sooner than later. But I attribute that to the fact that this is such a high cage that there's no stress involved. Because, you know, to me, stress is everything with animals.
Right.
And, you know, they feel secure if they're high up.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you know, these guys, when are they most active, though? Because I always ever see them like this.
Well, at night
They're more
they
nocturnal.
cruise around.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's awesome to see
They
these.
will eat during the day.
Yeah, that's cool. Does any of my viewers out there have any tree boas? Let me know, or even chondro pythons. Chondro pythons. Those are really cool as well. Similar, I believe, similar habitat or
Yeah,
niche.
similar niche.
Yeah, very cool. This is a great, again, just some of the best reptile enclosures that I've ever seen are right here at Reptilandia. So comes because this is what I think this is why you and I get along.
Yeah,
because it's about really creating or mimicking nature so that the animal.
Right, it's like you let them. I like to let animals be what they're designed to be.
Yes.
You know, it's like people always comment. Guests are always like, "Oh, your snakes are so active here," because it's like we give them the option
To be a
active.
snake. Yeah.
to be what they're designed to be.
That's cool. I love it.
All right.
We really are getting to see a lot of snakes today, friends.
All right. You like to see Argentine boa?
Yeah, sure.
I like boas.
Oh, an Argent. Yeah, these are nice, man. What a cool and beautiful pattern on these. I don't know if you guys remember, if you've watched the channel a long time, our friend Savvy. Surat from Miami area has a really pretty Argentinian boa, and made me fall in love with it. It's just a cool species. They get pretty large.
Yeah, they're decent size.
Which I always like large stuff, you know. Are these guys the most southern form of boa constrictor?
yeah.
They are,
Yes.
right? They go way down.
Absolutely. They're
Okay,
deep
yeah.
into Argentina.
So how cool does it get in their range if it's getting further south? Are they still tropical or?
I would call it subtropical.
Okay.
I mean, Argentina is only one of 3 South American countries that I've never been.
Okay.
So I can't really say, but I mean, I do. I would call it subtropical.
Subtropical, yeah. So for a guy like me who lives in Florida, this could potentially be a really good species to keep and breed.
Florida's subtropical.
Right, yeah. So short periods of cool weather is no big deal. Gentle warming for them, you know what I mean? But by and large, would be able, a robust snake would be able to take cooler temps. Really pretty though, you know? And just typical boa behavior, right? Same food.
Yeah, well, these are to my knowledge, these are a more terrestrial form of boa. These don't climb as much as the Hog Island Boas, I don't think. But then again, I don't have field experience with these.
I mean, with certain lizards, it's like, say, for example, the Komodo dragon, large terrestrial animal.
Right.
When they're young, you find them in the trees.
Right.
Same with Cyclura. Little, you'll find them
exactly.
higher up because it might be a better place to get away from danger.
Right, but I mean, it's also a lot of that is an illusion as well. Like, for example, I've got Solomon Island, what they call Solomon Island ground skinks in the 2-story enclosures.
Oh, really?
And those have razor sharp claws, like a tree monitor claws.
Okay.
And they climb 15, 16 feet up into the canopy. So it's like, it could be people, they live on the ground as well. I've field collected those on the ground, but they're no stranger to climbing. But it's like, it makes, people see them on the ground, they're collected on the ground.
Ground snake, ground skink, gotcha. All right, interesting. I was thinking maybe as a juvenile, this animal would climb a little bit more.
I would surprise me if they didn't, but I mean, these are more heavy-bodied than the Hog Islands or the Pearl Islands or any of that.
Just fascinating, man. You get such a deep wealth of information. And some of the other fun stuff, again, with this interaction, Quetzel himself, is the fact that a lot of what we do is about observation. Biologists are in the field, they observe. The animals here are in captivity, we observe them. And so it's up to us to kind of do the detective work or the guesswork in what the animal's thinking, how it's behaving, what it needs. And then we formulate all these fun theories.
It's, you know, a combination of captive and field work is where I take my observations from. I always say, you know, what I see and what I contribute and the stuff that I publish and I talk about, it's always their observations. They're not conclusions. You know, I don't have it in me. I don't have the courage to say what is or what isn't. You know, I can only say what I saw, and then, you know, the observer can do what they want with that information.
Yeah, awesome animal though.
Very humble way to put it. I like it.
Yeah, he's very zen. Look at this guy. Yeah, he's focusing his chi. Yeah. Wow. I love it. So this snake really caught my eye earlier when you told us to go walk around while you were on the phone. Tom and I were cruising through, and Tom actually found the snake and was kind of taken by it because it's so beautiful. And it's actually Komodo Island Pit Viper, or it's Komodo Island Pit Viper. And look at the color of that snake. It's the only venomous snake in here?
Yes, that's only this.
So you said there's a lot of interesting information about this animal, so I figured I'll just let you go.
Oh yeah, what I was going to say about these is that there's a number of vipers, pit vipers, that will turn blue in captivity from lack of sunlight.
Okay.
Or diet. Like Marchi, the Honduran ones, those will turn blue in captivity. Bicolor will turn blue in captivity, but they're generally not fully blue in the wild. They'll have hints of blue in them, but they're not blue like that. What's interesting about these is this is the only viper that I'm aware of, only arboreal pit viper that is blue like this in the wild. This is one of a few colored phases. These also come in yellow.
Wow. And so just found on Komodo, or are they found on Flores? Are they found kind of on other islands as well?
I am not sure. 100%
Gotcha.
sure. I think I'd be surprised if it's just Komodo that they're found on.
Yeah, that's a beautiful looking snake. It really incredible. What kind of venom are we looking at here?
It's nothing to play with.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't let myself get bitten by one.
You don't want me to let it bite my hat,
No,
right?
no,
Okay,
I
yeah.
probably wouldn't.
Good idea. Yeah, so it would mess you up. So don't get bit by this. And we just wanted to show you as our final snake for this video from Reptilandia, the Komodo Island Pit Viper. I mean, those big lizards get all the attention.
Right.
How about this arboreal viper here, huh? And how about our friend Quetzel? What an amazing guy, really fun to hang out with, and he allows us such unfettered access of Reptilandia. This is gonna be, every couple of years, I like to keep coming back here.
You're welcome here anytime.
I appreciate that, man. Do me a favor, go check out Reptilandia. You're on Instagram, right?
Oh yeah, we have Instagram, Facebook, all of that stuff.
Get on there, but even better, bug your family to come down through the hill country in Texas and visit this place. You will not be disappointed. One day isn't even enough. There's so much here. So come check it out and tell them Kamp Kenan sent you when you get on his social media or if you visit him. And then go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Kamp Kenan. We have some more videos from here that you may be interested in, plus live chats with me every Thursday, which we're about to do right now because it's Thursday. We got to do it. See you later.
Oh shoot.
All right.
Wait.